In the modern battlefield, tanks face faster, more powerful anti-armor weapons than ever. They need armor that is not just strong, but also light and agile. Modern armies rely on two key technologies: explosive reactive armor, or ERA, and non-explosive reactive armor, known as NERA. Unlike traditional thick steel, these armors don't just take the hit. They disrupt or deflect incoming projectiles on contact, reducing their penetration. This clever design protects tanks without adding tons of extra weight. So the question is, ERA or NERA, which performs better in real combat? To understand the answer, we have to start with the basics. What exactly is explosive reactive armor, and how does it work? Explosive reactive armor, or ERA, is made of small blocks filled with explosives, packed inside steel casings and mounted on the outside of a tank. It sounds dangerous, but the idea behind it is surprisingly clever. To weaken, or completely disrupt, an incoming anti-tank round before it ever reaches the main armor. Depending on the generation of ERA, the mechanism can vary, but the core principle never changes. When a warhead strikes, the explosive layer inside the steel box detonates in a controlled direction, pushing against the jet of a shaped charge or even snapping a kinetic penetrator off its path. In other words, ERA doesn't wait to be pierced, it sabotages the attack from the outside, the moment the threat makes contact. Now we move on to the second technology, non-explosive reactive armor, or NERA. Unlike ERA, NERA contains no explosives at all. Instead, it's built from two metal plates with a layer of elastic material sandwiched between them, usually rubber, polymers, or other highly flexible materials. Its operating principle is surprisingly clever. When a kinetic penetrator hits, that elastic layer is crushed under extreme pressure and then instantly snaps back. This rebound forces the two steel plates to bulge outward and shift sideways, almost like a trap closing in on the projectile. As the plates pinch in, they create a powerful bending moment on the long metal rod. And while penetrators are great at withstanding straight-line impact, they're terrible at handling bending forces. Push them past their limit, and the rod bends, cracks, or veers off course, losing almost all of its penetrating power before it ever reaches the tank's main armor. In short, ERA defeats a projectile with a controlled blast. NERA defeats it with smart elastic deformation. Explosive reactive armor is renowned for its high protective power, especially against heat rounds from anti-tank guns and missiles. Experts estimate that ERA can reduce the penetration of these rounds by 50 to 70%, depending on the version. Modern ERA systems, like Contact 5, Relict, and Malachite, go even further. They not only counter heat rounds but also significantly reduce the effectiveness of kinetic energy penetrators, which was a major weakness of early ERA. Another key advantage is weight. ERA is much lighter than traditional steel armor, yet provides similar protection, allowing tanks to stay agile and mobile on the battlefield. It's also cheap, easy to mass produce, and can be mounted externally without redesigning the entire vehicle. From the third generation onward, ERA blocks were designed as modular units, which allows quick replacement of damaged modules, easier maintenance, faster upgrades, and better long-term modernization without rebuilding the tank's hull. In short, ERA is powerful, lightweight, affordable, and extremely flexible. When it comes to the downsides of ERA, there are serious risks we can't overlook. When an ERA module detonates, it sends out dangerous fragments that can injure nearby infantry or even damage friendly vehicles in the formation. Because of this, many armies avoid mounting ERA along the sides or rear of a tank, places where it could easily put accompanying mechanized troops in danger. ERA is also a single-use defense. Once a block goes off, it has to be replaced. In high-intensity battles, if a tank takes repeated hits, it can quickly become bare, losing its entire outer shield. Some older generations of ERA could even be triggered by small-caliber rounds or stray shrapnel, wasting the explosive reaction on a threat that didn't matter, and leaving the tank vulnerable when a real anti-tank warhead arrives. And finally, even with improvements in modern designs, ERA is still limited against high-velocity kinetic penetrators. It can reduce their penetration, but it can't completely stop them. NERA has a key advantage: it's lightweight and compatible with a wide range of vehicles. From light armored vehicles and patrol trucks to fixed fortifications, it can be installed without adding excessive weight. Another strength is design flexibility. Engineers can adjust the thickness of the elastic layer, the hardness of the steel, or the mounting angle of the plates to optimize protection against specific types of projectiles. This makes NERA easily customizable for the tactical needs of any army. Like modern ERA, NERA is also modular. If a module is hit, the crew only needs to replace that section right on the battlefield. No need to remove or swap the entire armor. This allows vehicles to return to action faster. And perhaps the biggest advantage: NERA produces no secondary explosions, making it safe for nearby infantry, a huge benefit in urban combat or mixed mechanized formations. However, NERA comes with limitations similar to ERA. It performs best on the first strike. Once a module is hit, it usually needs to be fully replaced. NERA also doesn't completely absorb a projectile's kinetic energy. It deflects and weakens the round, but the remaining force still has to be stopped by the main armor. This makes NERA just one part of a tank's overall protection system. Its effectiveness heavily depends on the quality of the elastic material. If it's too soft, it won't generate enough rebound to bend the penetrator. If it's too hard, it can't expand quickly enough to create the clamping effect. Environmental factors like high temperatures, humidity, or material aging over time can also reduce performance. For this reason, NERA requires regular inspection and maintenance to ensure it always works at peak efficiency. Based on everything we've covered, you can picture it like this. ERA is the muscle-bound shield. It reacts with raw power, detonating outward to disrupt the incoming jet, using a controlled blast to break the warhead's energy. Its protection is incredibly impressive, especially against heat rounds, RPGs, and anti-tank missiles. But that strength comes with a price. A loud explosion, dangerous fragments that can harm nearby infantry, and each module can only be used once. Meanwhile, NERA is more like a smart, adaptive armor suit. No explosives, no smoke, no loud blast. It relies purely on composites and elastic layers that deform instantly to bend or deflect the penetrator. It works quietly but effectively. Perfectly safe for the crew and nearby troops. Lighter in weight, easier to produce and transport, and far simpler to maintain. If ERA wins in sheer stopping power, then NERA dominates in safety and practicality. One is a hard punch delivered by explosives. The other is a flexible strike that absorbs and redirects the threat. But to know which armor truly performs best, we can't rely on theory alone. Only the battlefield can give the final answer. In the late 1970s, after suffering heavy losses from anti-tank missiles in the Middle East, Israel came up with a bold idea. Mount small explosive blocks on the outside of tanks, and let those blasts save the crew's lives. From this, the first generation of ERA was born, marking the start of a new era in armored warfare. The Soviet Union quickly seized the concept. mass-producing ERA with Contact 1 and later Contact 5. Equipping their T-72, T-80, and T-90 tanks. Combat soon proved ERA's value. In multiple conflicts, from Iraq to Ukraine, tanks have survived 2 or 3 RPG hits thanks to ERA knocking the incoming jets off before they reached the main armor. But the battlefield also revealed its drawbacks. ERA can trigger chain reactions, sending dangerous fragments toward nearby infantry. That's why many countries, including Germany, South Korea, and the UK, have favored NERA instead, safer, more durable, and better suited for modern urban warfare. No explosives, no smoke, no flying fragments. NERA quickly found its way onto next-generation armored vehicles and even mobile defensive structures. On combat vehicles, NERA is usually mounted on the front, sides, and turret, areas most exposed to direct attack. Thanks to its lightweight, modular design, it's also ideal for patrol vehicles, reconnaissance vehicles, and light armored vehicles, where a balance between adequate protection and maximum mobility is crucial. Battlefield experience shows that both ERA and NERA are entering a new era. Next generation ERA will be far smarter, equipped with sensors, triggering only at the exact point of impact, and reducing danger to nearby infantry. Meanwhile, the future of NERA lies in advanced materials. Non-Newtonian compounds that harden instantly under impact, absorbing and dispersing shock with incredible efficiency. Shape memory polymers that can stretch and recover after being hit. And next-gen composites designed to deform in precisely controlled ways. Modern armor is also shifting toward hybrid systems, layering multiple defenses together. Active Protection Systems, APS, to intercept incoming missiles at a distance. And if APS fails, ERA or NERA acts as the final shield to protect the main armor and the crew. In the end, ERA and NERA differ completely in how they work. One uses explosive power. The other uses smart materials. But they serve the same purpose: to keep tanks alive against the most advanced anti-armor weapons in the world. And because both are far cheaper than building thicker steel armor, they've become the best upgrade option for older tanks, pushing them close to the protection level of today's main battle tanks. Maybe the future of armored warfare isn't about making armor thicker, but about combining explosive and non-explosive layers, mechanics and electronics, sensors and split-second reactions. So what do you think? Which path is more sustainable for future battlefields, explosive reactive armor or non-explosive reactive armor? Let me know in the comments.